The Minnesota Vikings need to find defensive linemen, and there are some interesting ones in this draft, and the scouting combine could change everything. The NFL scouting combine is finally here, and there will be 4 days of testing. But before the testing begins, players will be conducting interviews, they will be doing medical testing, examinations, all kinds of things that are just oh so very, very fun. And by fun, I mean, oh, this really stinks. But it's all part of the process, and it's an important one because healthy medicals usually mean you get drafted higher. Not only will the medicals be a major factor here, but the testing will confirm or deny what you see on tape, and that's why it's so important. And for the Minnesota Vikings, it's interesting because year 1, they relied heavily on the testing. Years 2 and 3, feels like they've trended more towards GPS data, which we don't know what the GPS data looks like ourselves because it's not public facing. However, the GPS data itself, you can tell, is something that these teams are starting to use because they can track how fast the guy goes with that flying 20. You can track how it is in a game setting, not a track setting, a game setting. Game speed is different from track speed. So how these guys test could factor in for the Vikings, but it also might not. Who are guys to keep an eye on? The number 1 guy is going to be Michigan defensive tackle Kenneth Grant. When he was at the Shrine Bowl in January, you imagine it's 6'3", 339 pounds. Bruce Feldman's Freaks List has him with a cracked GPS of 18.75 miles per hour, and he has this play where he chased down Katrin Allen in 2023 and just leveled him. Incredible stuff. You don't see guys at 339 pounds do that. And apparently at Michigan, at 360 pounds, he ran a sub-5 second 40-yard dash. Athletic freakazoid. And he could be going very high in this class. He could also be available at 24. This is somebody the Vikings are going to keep a heavy eye on. Same with Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle out of Oregon. He's a little bit smaller at 310 pounds, but he's built higher than other defensive tackles where he's got more upper body mass than he does in the lower body, which kind of helps him with torque, helps him be able to kind of utilize that upper body, his hands, use the length and punch. But he's a player that can play all over the defensive line. He can play in an even front. He can play in an odd front. He's probably best as a 3-4 defensive end, kick inside on pass rush downs. And Harmon could be a really, really interesting player. There are a couple more guys that are interesting, and they are not at the defensive tackle position. There's 2 edge rushers and a linebacker. Yes, a linebacker, a true off-ball linebacker. Edge rusher Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M, 6'5", 281 pounds. He has a chance to go in like the top 5, top 10 with a freaky weekend at the combine to really prove that what you see on tape is the real deal. Same with Mykel Williams. He's got 35, 36-inch arms, and he is just long. Not too dissimilar to Trayvon Walker, who went first overall in 2022. Williams has a great profile, but he has a long way to go because at Georgia, they kind of just teach you to do one thing. You don't do a lot of different things, and I think that matters here. And that could impact his draft stock and shoot him down into the 20s, where the Vikings, hey, maybe they want to use that guy as like an interior pass rusher, and you can stand him up. You can do a lot of different things. Could be intriguing for them. The last one is Alabama linebacker Jahad Campbell. Yes, an off-ball linebacker. You don't see guys built like this anymore. You saw guys at 6'3", 245 all throughout the 80s and 90s. None of them could run the pole in Tampa 2. If you don't know what the pole is, Tampa 2, you've got middle of the field open coverage, split safeties. The pole runner runs right in the middle. It's what Derek Brooks always used to do for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a version of cover 3, but it really prevents you from being able to attack those deep safeties, which is all the rage right now within the National Football League. Campbell can also fit the run. He's strong. He's fast. He's explosive. He's got an eye for the football. He can do a little bit of everything. You put that guy next to Blake Cashman, then you can let Ivan Pace do all kinds of weird stuff. That sounds really intriguing for the Minnesota Vikings. Best use of capital? Get good football players. That's all that matters. I'm Tyler Forness with ADZ Sports. Skol Vikings.